What's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up? Hi, James.
Hey, how's it going? I
Great, thank
am,
you.
I am so excited to be here today.
Oh my.
For another episode of Live with James, and I have here Rina Rossi. She's actually one of our partners in Canada, and we're going to get into that whole story of how we met, and some stuff about how she got into real estate and things that she's been able to do in real estate because she's killing it right now. But just want to just kind of remind everybody. So every Thursday at 11 o'clock, I'm interviewing an agent that's that's doing very well, and really just kind of just picking their brain on what they're doing in order to add value to the real estate community. So with that being said, Rena, I know we've been talking on and off, and you've been doing some amazing things here. But for the audience, can you tell them a little bit about your journey? Like, how did you get into real estate?
Absolutely. So, I grew up in real estate in the sense that my father was a real estate investor, and my family owned many properties. So we were involved in, helping to maintain the properties. And I always wanted to get into real estate. I always had a desire to get into the real estate industry, but wasn't sure, which avenue to take at that time. And so as time went on, I do own other businesses as well. I decided that I wanted to pursue it full time. So I ended up getting my license about 5 years ago and ventured into it full time.
Okay, so you start off as an investor first. And when you got your license initially, were you looking to do your own deals as an investor, or were you thinking that you was going to be in the residential sales part of it?
First off, the residential sales. I wanted to get involved in the residential sales. So um, I had heard about, Craig Proctor because he used to be on the billboards near my community many years ago. So just out of the blue, I decided to Google him and found out he was no longer selling real estate but was involved in coaching. So I signed up for coaching. It did cost quite a bit. And then through that coaching platform, I was attending a seminar in California where I ended up meeting my business partner, Rafat Matwali, on the shuttle back home to Toronto. And that's how we ended up, deciding that we were going to partner up in real estate on that shuttle. And I found out that he was in the GTA area, and that's where really my real estate career started to, where it really began. As my business partner was able to show me the ins and outs and train me and really get me prepared for the industry because most realtors, when I first started off in my first year, I was like, like every other agent, a frog in the middle of a Texas storm, blinking their eyes, not knowing what they're doing, right? You're kind of flapping with your wings and you're off the cuff. You don't really have any direction, not much mentorship. So that's where, I say I was very blessed or, to be able to take that route and, with Rafat and those that were mentoring and supporting me. That's a key, definitely a key.
Yeah, I mean, Rafa, he's awesome.
Yes.
We've definitely had many conversations with him. So it's something to be said about jumping on an airplane, flying, out of your country into another country, going to a seminar, and really just trying to learn and spending the money in order to get in front of get connected to like top people and stuff like that. And then, like, not only were you just doing that for yourself, but you ended up finding somebody else who was doing the same thing, and you all obviously had like interest and end up partnering together.
Yeah, it was actually quite interesting how it all worked out because uh, Rafat was late on that shuttle, and we were running behind, and he was the last one that they were going to pick up, right, to take us to the airport. And there were no other seats except the one beside me, so he ended up sitting beside me, and we started having a conversation, started talking. And yes, absolutely, as a real estate agent or a realtor, you definitely have to invest in yourself. I was actually influenced dramatically and positively by my father, who was also not only a real estate investor but a businessman. He was an entrepreneur, and he really taught me the value about business. I mean, at 13 years old, I was running his dry cleaning shop, terrified, and my father definitely taught me. whenever I was afraid to do something, he just basically put me out there and said, okay, well, I'm going to teach you how you're not going to be afraid anymore. So I learned from my father to do it afraid. You feel the fear, but you do it anyway. You don't have the answers ahead of time. You have to just take the steps by faith, and knowing that you will encounter people and mentors along the way that will help you along the way. So my father taught me some great values, not only with business, but also in believing in yourself and trusting that God has given you the abilities to be able to move forward. And I think that too many people are just afraid to move forward. Well, what if this happens and what if that happens? Well, we can't really predict what's going to happen, right? We just have to walk forward every single day, and then implementing the skills and being open to learn and being mentored by others. At least that's how I live my life, and that's my motto for success.
Man, I absolutely love that. Do it afraid.
Yeah.
Um, so, that's a write it down for anybody out there that's do it afraid,
Yeah.
because it's so many times when we're looking at what if this happened, what if that happened, but you're looking at the situation, but you're looking at the other side, right? You're looking at what you really want, but in between what you really want are obstacles, or what ifs and things of that nature. But you got to do it afraid in order to get over those obstacles, in order to get what you really want. And it seems like at 13 years old, I mean, you learned the lesson that people that are like years and years and years older don't even have right now.
Well, and then considering that the cash register wasn't an electronic cash register, so I had to do the math in my head to give the right change back to the customers. Wow, like there was a lot of pressure, but that was a platform, and that was just the beginning of how my father was, training me. I have a twin sister, but both of us, right? So he was training us and preparing us for the business world. And another way that he taught me afraid was he had this van that we would. It was a van that didn't have a rear view mirror. It was the company van. So we just turned 16, and we were at the shop, and it was a Saturday because we used to get up at 6:30 in the morning and didn't finish till 6 at night. And he says, "Okay, you're driving home." What do you mean driving home, Dad? I'm afraid I can't do this. Are you kidding? Get in the truck, and he threw the keys, right? Just trembling at the wheels, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, right? Don't worry, just use your, the side view mirrors, and just concentrate. I'm right beside you. Everything will be fine. And you know what? Even though my hands were shaking at the wheel, we got home safely, and I thought, gee, that wasn't so bad. That was okay, So that was a crucial learning point for us, for both my sister and I, and for myself, of course. That really just cemented, okay, you know what? If I can do this, then I can definitely confront any obstacle and any fear that comes my way, right? I may not have the answers, but at least if I do it afraid and I conquer my fear, I'll be able to move forward from there. You all right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting choked up from your story or what. Now
I have that effect on people. No, I'm just kidding.
You can tell you live because all this stuff, everything is just out there. I was coughing a little bit last night, and I guess it's when I started talking, it just started kicking back in. But I'm loving that whole process, doing it afraid. And while you're saying that, I'm actually thinking about the times of things that I did in my life and how I was feeling at that particular time. And I never looked at it as being afraid, but I know I was nervous when I
Mm-hmm.
was doing it because it's fear the unknown, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Definitely.
so we was, I'm definitely familiar with the coaching platform that you was talking about initially.
Yes. Yes.
That's one of the things I did. I jumped on a plane and flew to California for the same thing, and that was something that helped me get around the top people and actually grow. But like
Yes.
I said, it was very expensive at that particular time. Um,
Yes.
so you and Rafat, you all get together, you get back to Canada, y'all obviously start to gel and communicate with each other, and
Yes.
you all kind of formulate a team, right?
Yes. So we came up with a business plan, and when all was said and done, we had to decide on what type of CRM we were going to utilize, the type of marketing that we were going to implement, who was going to make the phone calls, the lead conversion. It was a very huge task, right? And it was my first year. But I'm not going to complain, because in my first year, I was able to earn about $150,000 in my first year, and that's because we were implementing the systems. However, it was very expensive for the both of us. I mean, we were spending close to $72,000 a year, with the brokerage fees, the CRM, the contact management system, as well as the coaching, right? So when EXP was presented to us, it was just like amazing how we were able to not only streamline everything, but cut down our expenses massively.
Yeah. So I mean, the topic here is leverage. So
Right.
you're you're already, I guess the coaching is a form of leverage, because you're leveraging, the information that somebody else has. Then you formulate a team. The team is a form of leverage that you're kind of building out. But at the end of the day, it's about profitability, right? And
Yes.
you saw this new model. Well, tell me what you thought about when you first saw it, because everybody has different things. Like, well, when I saw EXP, I saw this part, I saw that part. What was one of the biggest things that you liked about the company when you first saw it?
Well, one of the biggest things was the opportunity to create a new platform that could generate a passive income stream, right? That compounded monthly for us, like that. There's an opportunity for a platform to be able to actually retire when you're ready to retire, and that it also is a saleable asset. That was huge. But not only that, I mean, for $139 a month, what we pay here in Canada, that was better than what we were spending with our own marketing fees. I mean, the main thing for me was the freedom component of EXP, right? Rafat and I were able not only to keep our current brand, right, and then at one time we were thinking about actually investing in our own brokerage, but with EXP, it takes away all the brokerage responsibilities and liabilities. So what really caught my eye was this passive income stream, obviously, and then of course the equity share. That was huge for me. That was just like, this is a no-brainer. Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. So what have you been able to do? Since you've been here at EXP, leverage wise, equity wise, and things of that nature.
So we went. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes. So with respect to production, we were able to increase our production from 40 transactions to 70 transactions. We are expanding not only locally, so we have other realtors joining our team locally, but I'm also expanding globally with different partnerships. We are also taking a look at, obviously, the training. How am I leveraging this? When I partner with a realtor, I really lock arms with them, and I'm very serious about helping them get to the next level with their real estate career, in the sense that how we are leveraging this, both Rafat and I, is we're part of the NAEA, the National Association of Expert Advisors. I got my certification as an expert advisor, and I highly recommend that for anyone that I partner up with. So that's how we're leveraging. And of course, the training, 40 hours a week of training that we didn't have access to. So, you don't have to train your own agents. They can train themselves. And the platforms that are available are just, world class. You can't really compare them to anything that I've experienced, I'll say, in the past. They're really on point, and the production that we are implementing right now is amazing. So we are converting a lot of our leads, buyer leads, seller leads, and not only that, with respect to sharing the model with other realtors, many people are starting to see it. So that's how we're leveraging. If that answers your question, I kind of went all over there, but a lot of things going through my head.
No, you absolutely did. And I mean, I apologize again, everybody, because I'm like all in my nose and everything and
Oh,
stuff. So it's one of those things. But I mean, I really wanted to get this interview done because I know there's so much value that you can add for everybody. Hold on 1 second, okay?
yeah. Maybe James needs a glass of water.
Yeah.
You're allowed to get a glass of water, aren't you?
All
Are
right,
you
I'm back.
okay now?
Yeah, I'm all right now. Live means live.
Oh, yes, it does. That's all
But
right.
but no, I mean it's I've been able to like personally watch some of the stuff that you've been doing and growing and just really just kind of building and creating that leverage that a lot of agents they just don't have in this particular industry. The biggest thing we say about real estate agents is they don't retire, they die. But like you said, being able to have something that you build that's a sellable asset is huge, right?
Exactly. I'm trying to save the realtors from dying.
Stop.
Trying to add, some value and enrich their lives. Seriously, we have something here that is changing the platform of, it's changing lives. It's adding value and enriching. It's a platform of freedom. EXP for me is a platform of freedom in all areas. It's not. I mean, every realtor or every brokerage, every team is. They're hung up on. We have to do more transactions, and EXP is excellent with the platforms that we have to be able to increase our sales and our production and sell more homes. But is that what we really want? I mean, if you take a look at you're selling more homes, but you got less time with your family, right? So how are you able to balance this where you have more time freedom, right? And that's the platform that EXP offers. Not only that, usually you're restricted, right? Here with EXP, you can go beyond your market. You can expand globally within. There are no boundaries. There's no ceiling. So that's something that I think that every realtor on the face of this earth needs to take a look at and seriously consider, like, how much longer do you want to keep doing this, striving and, stressing yourself out, not having time for your family. And as Jay Kinder says, there is a better way to sell real estate. There is a better way to sell real estate. Having this saleable asset is a serious thing, so that you have a real exit strategy when you want to retire, and being willing it to your family when you're ready to leave this earth, right? I mean, what kind of inheritance are you going to be able to leave, or a legacy you're going to be able to leave to your children? At least that's how I look at it. I want to be able to leave a legacy for my children, and of course my future grandchildren, the ones that I have now, and for many years to come. So I know I'm working hard, not only for myself, but also for my family. And I seriously want to help change the lives of realtors. I really enjoy meeting with realtors and sharing this platform with realtors, and the ones that have actually partnered with us. They're really excited, and it excites me and blesses me to see that they're tapping into the meetings and they're starting to grow, and they're starting to see a different side of real estate than what we've been used to, or what they've been used to in the past.
Yeah. I mean, just the, like you said before, like you almost doubled your business. Just about doubled your business from just the connection that you've been here, but but also your team has grown. Not only just within your current team, but also within your expansion team.
Yes,
So
that's
like
true.
the growth is going to happen once you
Yes,
get connected to the right people and the right system. So so you're going to grow, and you're going to it's going to happen for you. I mean, it's just amazing to see what can happen if everybody how they say put their fire together and create one big fire. And, because you're properly aligned, right?
exactly. And not only that, James, I find too that the majority of people in general, realtors, you can go within any industry, we have a certain mindset that we've been accustomed to. We've been accustomed to negative thinking. We've been accustomed to what our parents taught us, or our families, and different influences of our friends and society and whatnot. And one thing that people need to realize is that you got to change your mindset. I mean, um, you're in charge of your own success, to be honest with you. You can't rely on anybody else to help you become successful. Success is a decision that you make. And that decision really is, okay, they'll go around saying, oh, I want to be like James Massey. Oh, I want to be like Brent Gold, and Jay Kinder. Many people want the success, but they don't want to put the time and the effort to make the sacrifices to get there. And that's what separates, I guess, the men from the boys, or I don't know how to make the proper analogy, but everybody wants success, everybody wants to retire, everybody would love residual income, everybody would love to change their lives. But the reality is, the biggest battle that I find is your mindset, right? You got to start renewing your mind. You got to start changing the way you think and start implementing different things that you haven't done before, right? Obviously you're afraid, but you know what I'm saying? If you don't start implementing and start changing your mindset, and then again, what I do and what I've done is I just push away all that negativity. I don't listen to the naysayers, oh, you can't do it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've heard that all my life. The same people that said, oh, you're taking a chance buying your franchise. Well, how am I taking a chance buying a franchise? I'm not taking a chance if it's a proven system. If you're investing in a proven system, then what's the risk, right? If you go out and open your own business, then of course, there are different factors. But if you're investing in a proven system, all you have to do is work the system, right? And I have to also mention on this broadcast, Andre LaFountain has been a tremendous support for me as well, and for all of us. And what I love about our network is that we are all so supportive, and we're there. I can give you a call anytime, and you answer my text messages. Anytime I need any support, I can actually, call any of my senior business partners, and they're there. So with any form of if you're going to move forward, right, in life, in any area of life, you have to really let go of your old mindset. And that's what's the problem here with the world. I talk to, for example, buyers. Oh, and they're the professionals, or their friends are the professionals, but are their friends realtors? Are they involved in the industry? No. People just listen to, the back talk and what's going on around them, but they're not. And this is a terrible influence, right? So, I always approach life to the positive side. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you're going to make mistakes. You have to be open to fall and scrape your knees and hit your head a couple of times. But it's, as you've heard that saying, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up, right? Fall a lot. I fall a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes, but you know what? I've learned from my mistakes. And I believe that if you're not afraid to learn from your mistakes, and you're ready, you can take a couple of shots here and there, right? You've learned your lesson, and now okay, this is what I'm not going to do. I've learned from this. Now let's move forward and let's see how we can change and start implementing new measures, right? But definitely your mindset is key. Success is actually easy when it's easy. You're already successful in your mind. If you decide to be successful in your mind, half of the battle is already there. You've already dealt with half of the battle. So definitely the mind is a very powerful thing in the way you think. At least that's how I learned my lessons.
So I 100% agree with that. I'm actually glad you said that, because for a lot of people, they're trying to figure things out. They're trying to figure out how they're going to get success and things of that nature. And and like you said, they're scared. Some people, they're nervous if this is going to work, or that whatever.
Right.
So I always say, like, if you want to change how you think, you want to renew your mind about something, it's three ways to get in, right? One, what you're listening to. Two, what you're looking at. And
Right.
three, what you're saying.
What
If
you're
you
saying to
get
yourself.
those things in line, where in whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's have a better marriage, have a better kids, or whatever. If you get around that and you're listening to it and you're watching it and now you're speaking it, it's going to get in your heart, and then in the heart, that's where everything is, right?
That's right. Our words are seeds, our thoughts are seeds, and your heart is, where the issues of life flow out, right? So There's a saying, in the Word of God, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So out of your heart, what's inside of you is what's going to come out of you, really. But that's something too that I've had to learn, and speaking the right things, being positive, saying the right words, and then obviously implementing them. And it's a struggle at times because you have a lot of negativity around you. But you just have to, what I find that works for me is that I just push the negativity away, and I watch what I listen to. I'm careful with what I'm listening to, careful how I speak. If I catch myself speaking negative right away, just smart, oh, that's enough. We're not going to talk like that, right? But my business partner and I were fought, and we have faced some challenges as well, but we've overcome those challenges, right? Because we have the same mindset. It's consistency and persistence, right? Do you have that, right? If you're a weak individual in the sense that you're so easily influenced and tossed around, like a football or a tennis ball in a tennis match, and you're not grounded in what you believe in, then you're going to be easily influenced by the negativity, right? But you have to be persistent in anything that you decide to implement, right? I had to be consistent with my piano lessons when I was young. I started piano at 7 years old, and my parents, you could not get out of it every day imagine this, man. Every day for a half an hour a day, I had to practice my piano. Come hell or high water, you were practicing 7 days a week, half an hour a day. And that's where I learned the discipline, right? Many people are not disciplined. They may try something for a couple of weeks. Oh, well, you know what? It didn't work for me. Or they may try for a couple of months. They just don't have the discipline, to stick to it, right? To stick to it. And you're saying, maybe people are saying, oh, yeah, well, you're lucky, Rina, because, your dad would have whipped your hiney if you wouldn't have practiced a half an hour a day. But the reality is I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do it, but it really laid the platform for discipline in every area of my life. So discipline, and if there are people that are watching, okay, I'm not really that disciplined, well, start getting disciplined. It's that simple.
Renew your mind about discipline. Renew your mind on that. So
yeah. Oh, what's your secret? How do you do, Brent Go? What's your secret? Oh, Jay Kinder, what's your secret? There is no secret. You just do it. You just do it, right? Everybody thinks there's some magic formula. What's your secret? Oh, what are you not telling us? There must be something. What are you doing differently? You're implementing, right? You're being consistent and being disciplined. Oh, you know what? I can't go to the gym. I'm just, I'm too tired. You can come up with so many excuses in your life. Honestly, they're not going to do you any good. When you stop making excuses, right, and decide that you're just going to do this and you're going to stick to it, you're going to start seeing the fruit. You're going to start seeing the fruit of your labor, right? You're going to start seeing the success. You're going to start seeing how you're influencing people and how you're making a positive change in other people's lives. And I truly believe with anything that I do, you approach it with love, right? There are going to be many people that may not agree with the EXP platform, and that's okay, right? Don't get offended. It's all right. It may be that maybe they're not ready. It may not be for them, but there are so many out there that are looking and that are hungry for a change. And that's my driving force, right? Who can I influence today? Whose life can I change with this model? Who can I approach, today? And is going to partner up with me, is going to be able to see the value in what we offer. But come on, let's stop this nonsense. What's your secret? Why don't you write a novel about what you do? You can read 100 novels. If you don't implement, if you don't have the discipline, if you don't believe in yourself, then you're wasting your time. To be honest, I know I'm blunt. I like to be blunt. I like to get to the point. But that's the truth, right? I sat there for hours, and I still do it. Times I pick up the phone, and I would make 20, 30 calls a day. Right? It's a numbers game, and I would call at night during my dinner time, in the morning. You have to be structured. You have to commit to a certain schedule, right? Now, do I get busy at times and I'm not able to do it? Absolutely. But get back right back in there. I mean, nobody wants it. Oh, I don't have the time to make the phone calls. Fine, then just let your database, keep accumulating those leads. You're passing up hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, right? So it's your choice. But yeah, is it painful? Yes, it can be painful in the sense that, you may not have time with your family in the beginning, but think of the end goal. Think of what you're trying to accomplish in the end and how you're going to get there. Because I just find, I believe that everybody has that potential inside of them. Just too many people don't know how to tap into the potential that they have. They have just, their mind is telling them you can't do it. Heart is saying you can do it. So what you need to do is get your mind and your heart in sync. And that's powerful once you figure that out.
I love it, Rena. Man, I'm so glad you was able to jump on and kind of share with everybody. Like I was saying, I wasn't feeling well, but I mean, I knew that it was going to be something valuable that I had to get up and make this thing happen, and I'm so excited that it actually did. So,
Oh, thank you, James. I appreciate that. I really value that. I know you're not feeling well, but I think I could have rescheduled, honestly. But I thank you that
no,
you're
no, no,
pushing through.
no rescheduling. What was meant to happen was meant to happen.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
That's it. So, yeah, so once again, everybody, we do these every Thursday at 11 o'clock. We're interviewing an agent that's actually bringing tremendous value to the community and also killing it. I mean, we definitely appreciate Rina Rossi. If you want to know about her business or something about like what partnership looks like for her, definitely reach out to her. If you want to know what partnership looks like for me, definitely reach out to me. We're open book. We're sharing. This thing is big enough for everybody. So,
Yes, it is.
so
Yes, it is.
I appreciate you, Rena. And until the next call, until the next meeting, I gotta have you back when you blow this thing up even bigger.
And I appreciate you, James, as well. Thank you so much for your support. And let's do this again.
Do it again. All
All
right.
right. God bless.